happened. FB shut us down. My Facebook shut down and started back up again. Assalamu alaikum, Abdul Mujib, listening on Mixler.
Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh, Abdul Mujib. Alhamdulillah.
No, he didn't say.
He didn't give
I'm giving him the greeting.
Oh, salam alaikum to Barakatuh, brother Abdul Mujib. Thank you for helping yesterday in the garden. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for coming out.
Alhamdulillah. It was one of the rare, real brothers. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Him and his family. May Allah bless.
Definitely.
And reward them all. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, we was just up. Had the video up and going on FB, and my Facebook app just shut down and restarted back up. Apologize to everybody who was just watching. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, not sure. Subhanallah. Just cut off one out. Like I said, this is just temporary, just in case we do get shut down completely. We still can communicate through the Mixler app. So make sure that you download Mixler.com, mixlr.com/NUR-UZ-ZAMAAN-radio, RADIO. Make sure you download that app just in case we can't not use Facebook anymore. So we're just riding it till the wheels fall off. When it's no longer available to us, we'll still be kicking it live through the Mixler app. We kicking live through there anyway, but just know that we're just not going to be broadcasting because we can't do Facebook Live. That's not the case.
Yeah, we're not restricted.
Yeah.
by or limited to Facebook.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
As we said, we're in the month of Sha'ban, which is the month preceding the month of Ramadan. I like to remind all of my believing brethren, especially our sisters, that if you have any days that you need to make up from last Ramadan, do it now. Maybe you were experienced that time of the month, or were nursing, or for whatever reason you didn't complete your fast of Ramadan last year. Make it up now before the next Ramadan comes. Trust me, you don't want to just let it slide, and then you owe all these days. You went 10 years not catching up, and you got like 7 days from each year. You owe 70 days. No, get it out the way now. Give Allah His haqq. This is part of our deen. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Buni al-Islamu ala khams." That Islam is built upon or based upon 5. And he said, "Shahadati an la ilaha illallah wa Muhammadan Rasulullah, wa iqama salat, wa ataya zakat, wa hajj al-bayt, wa samu Ramadan." And this is the 3rd hadith in Imam Nawawi's Arba'in. It's 40 hadith. And he mentioned, because this is an earlier hadith, so that's why the Hajj is not mentioned last. But in any case, the last thing he said is fasting the month of Ramadan. Fasting the month of Ramadan. So make up. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Dumajib said, Assalamu alaikum from the whole crew, from the whole Al Mukmin floor crew. Out in Carnegie putting in work. Alhamdulillah. Dumajib, Hassan Ali, Abdul Rakib. Get it in, baby. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
I'm with y'all in spirit. I'm with y'all in spirit. Now I want you to remember that when Hassan Ali pay y'all. Just act like I was with y'all. And when it's time to get paid, cut me a check too, inshallah.
Inshallah. Walaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Teresa. Thanks for watching. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
We have call-in numbers. If you'd like to call in to
No,
make
we
a
have
comment.
one call-in number.
Call-in number.
You said numbers like we had more than one number, like they had options.
Anyway.
I'm just correcting you. I can't correct you.
You can correct me, alhamdulillah.
So why you look at me all funny, like like
Enjoy
you can't
the
be
right,
corrected?
forbid the wrong, mashallah. Our call-in number is, I already know by heart, 412-567-3030. Again,
412-567-3030. Hit us up. Call in.
We will not call out your telephone number. We'll just answer the call. Just remember, that's not the way to listen to the show.
Hind said, I was working too. Where my shout out? you was working with the brothers?
Assalamu alaikum, Hind. Alhamdulillah. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam, Sister Nadita.
Wa alaikum salam to barakatuh, Sister Nadita. Thanks for joining us. Alhamdulillah. Now, I don't know what the topic is today.
You don't know.
I don't know what the topic
I know what it is.
He know what it is, and he gonna ask me, what are we talking about today? And I'm like, I don't know.
I know what the topic is. And we can go a whole lot of ways with this topic.
But before we get into the topic, there are some news in the making that we need to remind ourselves to keep us woke. Just recently, police killed the 15-year-old boy in the head with a rifle. Car, I was kind of skimming through the article. The car was leaving, and the officer shot and killed the boy in the head. I believe that he was driving. I'm not sure what he was doing, where he was at, or anything like that. But he was 15 years old, so nobody's safe from the gun. They're gonna get it. As we see, Tamir Rice, he was killed because they said that he had a gun. He had a toy gun. I could just name names over and over. But the recent killing...
It's open season.
Yeah. On our youth. And that's not the only killing that's happened. Yes, killing happens all over the world, but there was a shooting that was not hardly publicized. And it's a reason why it wasn't publicized. There was a shooting. This white man shot up some black people at a pool party in San Diego. His name is, what's his name? They don't even have his picture up here. And now y'all know, if it was one of us, black, if it was one of us, Muslim, our picture would have been plastered all over the news. The person's name was Peter Sellis. I don't even know what this person looked like. But yet...
Peter Sellis?
Yeah, Peter Sellis. They don't even have it posted here. Now, you know, if it was one of us, it would have been plastered. Our whole background would have been plastered on the news that had nothing to do with the crime. And if you're the victim, your background would have been posted as if that had something to verify that you deserve what happened to you. This is how they do us. You know, subhanAllah, yeah. So, subhanAllah. So, this is how they do us. You know, it's not a equal playing field for us. If you think for 1 minute that you're on the same, you know, standard, or if you're the same level as someone of the Caucasian race, you are sadly mistaken. If you're Muslim and you think that, oh, that's what he looked like. Mm-hmm. He's dead, by the way. I'm not sure how he died. But in this article written by, and I've heard this person, Sean King, and no, Sean King be going off. He said that if it had been a Muslim, Trump would have gone on a bigoted tweet storm, because you know they like to tweet their stuff about needing money to build a wall. If he was black, now if he said if he was an immigrant or a refugee, he said if he was black, the conservative trope about black on black crime would be yelled from the rooftops from coast to coast. But none of this is the case. Instead, we have a good old-fashioned white man, reportedly with a beer in one hand and a loaded gun in the other, randomly shooting black people. Trump didn't say a word. No headlines were created to report these racist men. This is the article. No executive orders are being signed to protect people from the scourge of white supremacy. And at least one reason Trump is not speaking out on the violence of white supremacy in this country is because they are among his most devoted supporters. So we never going to get equal opportunities. We are never going to get equal treatment on any level. That's why you got to build your own. You got to do for self. You know, you got to take care of home first. And stop trying to meet up or be like or try to meet people's standards. You're never going to meet it. You always going to be, you know, always having to do extra, and it's never going to be enough. When do you stop and just say, you know what, this is not working. We got to do something else. But we're not thinking that way. We're so busy trying to meet the standards of certain groups that it's not meant for us to do that. You're supposed to love yourself. Love who you are. If you don't know where you came from or your background, you need to learn it, investigate, so that you have some purpose. Because evidently, some of us don't feel the purpose. Even though we may have Islam, we don't have a purpose. We don't feel complete because we are cut off from our lineage. SubhanAllah. So this runs deep. SubhanAllah. So that's happened, and you didn't hear about it, and you're not going to hear about it unless people mention it. You know, that care. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Oh, I want to thank everyone that came out yesterday. I thank Brother Abdul Majid and the sisters that came out yesterday to start our garden up for the spring season. Alhamdulillah, we have a community garden here at Masjid Al-Mu'min. This is going on our third season. Alhamdulillah, our third year. It seemed just like yesterday. Alhamdulillah. I'm excited about this year, and if you are in the area, you love gardening, don't know nothing about gardening, but would like to help out, pitch out, you know, rack up some deeds, come on out and support this effort, mashallah. And we had a fundraiser on Saturday in regards to the New Bridges Collaborative that was formed between us and the school in Gambia called the Islamic Call and the Memorization of Quran. We united and we came together for the sole purpose, for the purpose to support those learning the Quran and support those who are teaching these children to, you know, memorize Quran. And by doing so, anything that you do is good and you support it, you get reward as well as that person that's actually doing it. So that's a beautiful thing. In Islam, it teaches us not to be miserly. Shaitan makes you feel like you got to be miserly, make you feel like if you spend this, you know you ain't really got it. If you spend this, you're not going to have anymore. And Allah promised us that when you spend, you don't lose anything. And so we got to have that mindset as far as, you know, supporting different efforts. There's another effort called Nasra Il America. They do feeding of the homeless. They do different things all over the country, mashallah. In Senegal, these efforts, whatever you feel like putting your money in, your time, they need our support, alhamdulillah. So don't feel like, oh, I don't have it. Allah is the one that provides risks. He provides. When you feel like you are at your last, I've been in a situation where I thought that was, you know, I was at my last and nothing's going to come. But as soon as I gave up or just moved forward in faith, Allah, you know, replaced it or gave me something better or even more, mashallah. So that's about it. I'm done running my mouth. So what are we talking about this evening, inshallah?
SubhanAllah. Yesterday and today, I noticed this name kept popping up. And I was like, why is this, what did this person do? I kept seeing everybody on social media talking about Amina Wadud. Did you notice that?
I heard you say that, but I didn't know what it was. You never explained or elaborated what it was while she was trending. Why she trending?
Amina Wadud is one of these so-called feminists who claim to be Muslim. I actually dealt with her about maybe about 13, 14 years ago.
Okay.
Back then, she was in the news because she was going to lead a Jumu'ah prayer
Right.
in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't the first time that she tried a stunt like that. But this one got more attention. And this Jumu'ah prayer was going to have men and women in it. And it's going to be held in a church in Manhattan. And she's going to give the khutbah and lead the salat. And she did it. And I had pictures. I probably still got them someplace on my computer. But like even in the front rank, you had men and women together in the front rank.
SubhanAllah.
And so I remember I emailed her and refuted her on 2 different occasions. And she told me, she emailed me back, told me don't email her again. I ain't gonna pay no attention to that. And at the time, I just felt like I had to do my part in refuting her. The problem that I saw at that time is that the other imams, my seniors, the veterans in the game, some of them spoke about it, but none of them really refuted them. Because, and this is my opinion, many of the imams who are senior to me, they are more concerned with how they will be perceived for doing something rather than how Allah will perceive them. So sometimes they may not act, or they may water down what they may do or say because of how their action could be perceived by others. And plus, this was a big media, stunt, and so a lot of people was paying attention to it. So a lot of things. But back then, I checked her out, and her whole premise and her claim to fame, she don't have a basis or a support in the Muslim community. Anything that she does, she's not really getting supported by the Muslim community. She's getting support by the academic community and the people that's against Islam. Right? So you're not going to do anything to stop her anyway. She's not on any of our platforms. It ain't like she's speaking at Muslim conventions, at least not that I know of.
Right.
So it's not like you can call some masjid or call one of the famous 4-letter Muslim organizations to pull a plug on her, because it's not the Muslims who are supporting her. It's the kuffar that are supporting her. But her whole premise is that the deen is patriarchal. The deen caters to men. And she wants to undo or rewrite that narrative. She thinks she's qualified and free to rewrite tafsir, and she's written something. I forgot what it was. It's been a long time since I looked at it. But she wrote her own tafsir.
Right.
Reinterpreting things based upon her own whims from the feminine side.
Right.
And I could be wrong. I have to dig back into it, but I think she's even cool with calling Allah by feminine pronouns.
SubhanAllah.
Right? So her whole thing, she's anti-man. And I looked her, let me look up again. I think, I thought she was from Philly, but she spent some time in Philly. I think she was born in, but according to her Wikipedia page, she was born in Bethesda, Maryland. And she supposedly converted to Islam in 1972 while she was a student at Penn, University of Pennsylvania. So, so she received her master's in Near Eastern Studies and a PhD in Arabic and Islamic Studies from the University of Michigan in 1988. A lot of people getting their credentials, they so-called Islamic credentials from this University of Michigan. Anyway, that's another topic. During graduate interpretation, during graduate school, she studied in Egypt, including advanced Arabic at the American University in Cairo, Quranic studies, and tafsir, or religious interpretation at Cairo University, and philosophy at Al-Azhar. I'm looking for reference to that book that she supposedly had read. Yeah, now that whole prayer thing happened in 2005.
Is it the Quran and woman rereading the sacred text?
That's it. That's it.
I'm trying to get the top.
Yeah.
Okay. Here.
Contributes, it says here, contributes a gender-inclusive reading to one of the most fundamental disciplines in Islamic thought, Quranic exegesis, in other words, tafsir. So
we're reading the sacred text from a woman's perspective.
Yeah. So she's, Celine, tell me which link you're talking about, her Wikipedia page or what we're about to get into.
This is the PDF of that book.
I think I had that book. I never read it, but I think I had that book.
I'll post it up right here. Let's see. I think I try to read it, and I said, nope, I ain't want to get
Didn't I send it to you a while ago?
I think so.
For a reason.
Yeah. I didn't want to contaminate my thinking.
So I'm going to send it out to other people for them to get it. But everybody ain't like, you know.
Okay, never mind.
Like, I got...
her Wikipedia.
So-called, I got her Wikipedia. Okay, I'll post it up. I
deleted it.
I got so-called Noble Drew Ali's bootleg Quran on my computer. I'm not posting a link to that.
Sorry.
But this woman, she's trending on Facebook. Everybody's talking about her. And I clicked on a link of what everybody's saying. And the thing that baffles me is something she wrote in 2013. I don't know what made it resurface again. But I'm going to read what she wrote.
Okay.
And when I finish reading what she wrote, I think this is a blog or something. When I finish reading what she wrote, you're going to see why everybody has a problem with it.
Okay.
Now, again, what I'm reading, it says the date is October 17th, 2013. This week, the Islamic pilgrimage or Hajj was completed. For those not gathering on the dusty plains of the desert in Arabia, we have the celebration of the Feast of the Sacrifice, commemorating the exchange of a lamb for the blood of the son of Abraham. This story is coated with patriarchy, and so it is with some fascination that Hajar, biblical Hagar, configures so significantly in the Islamic telling of it. According to the same patriarchal twist, it is Abraham's first son that is pivotal to the story's continuation and the salvation of a people yet to be born. That his first son Ishmael was born of a slave woman, some say of African origins, is not without extreme symbolism for African American women, mostly Christian. That she is a mother of the tribes of Arabs is also not without some extreme genealogy along with that symbolism. But that she is a single female head of household who sojourn in the desert still has a central ritual reenactment in the Hajj that I turn to here. The story goes, Abraham's wife Sarah had reached her seniority without producing an heir. This caused our old patriarch some discomfort, and she took advantage of an old age custom to support his desire by providing a concubine, a slave woman, specifically for the purpose of sex and hopefully for the conclusion of that intercourse to reproduce a child. That such was indeed the case, and a male child to boot is again not my focus here. Already we see that Hydra is without status. Whatever child she produces becomes the acknowledged son of Abraham's patriarchal household. She and Sarah are both equally rendered invisible utilities to the completion of his need for progeny. So you can see already she's taking throwing subtle darts at Prophet Ibrahim. It gets worse.
And that's a problem.
Yeah. Jewish and Christian continuation of the story plays little into the Islamic continuation of our ritual reenactment. For by the miracle of the Creator, Sarah too bears a child, and a male to boot, Isaac. She has an exclamation point there. That's why I read it. She just hate men, boy. It seems like the fact that these women giving birth to men is just pissing her off. The erasure of Hydra becomes more symbolic. She is banished to the desert. Why they didn't just kill her and the child is beyond me, because what she was consigned to was only short of death by a hair's breadth. Furthermore, it is Abraham at once pictured as a loving father and husband to two women who must deliver her up to her fate. Now the test arises in earnest. Not only did she wish for her survival under impossible circumstances, but also she wished to save her innocent child. As the story goes, dehydration seemed to be the most imminent threat, and she began frantically to search for water. 7 times she went back and forth between 2 foothills, Safa, where the child lay, and Marwa, almost a half kilometer apart. At some point in this frantic search, she even ran. I can imagine the angst of her search and the despair of success, although she never ceased her search. Again, the divine miracle intercedes, and water springs forth just at the heel of the child. She and he are saved for the moment, and apparently, although details are scarce in Islamic literature and lore, she is joined with the tribe somewhere out there in the desert. Fast forward a few thousand years, and now Muslims, young and old, female and male, in wheelchairs, chairs, and able-bodied, replicate this frantic journey between 2 foothills during the Hajj in a ritual act called Sa'i. Little of the reality of Hajj's struggle to survive is sufficiently emphasized today. For example, at the places where she is said to have ran, pilgrims are encouraged to likewise run. But wait, not all pilgrims, just the male, able-bodied ones. People, male and female, in wheelchairs are zoomed along the air-conditioned pavilion, and no distinction is made between any one part of the long corridor. The young males pushing the chairs simply zip along to collect a few hundred rial and take up the next customer. It's all business for them. Older men and women like me are simply grateful to be able to complete the 3.5 kilometer total of the 7 circuits using our own 2 feet. As much as part of me wanted to defy the Saudi restriction of running to only the men, I actually had not the state of fitness to pull off anything more than walking. It feels cheap to walk in clean, tiled conditions under pumping central air condition. Don't get me wrong, I do not believe in ritual suffering, nor in life suffering. But here's the thing. Something is amiss in our entire Muslim culture, and has been so for more than a few centuries now. when the central theme of this story is whitewashed. Here is the ultimate expression of intersectionality of race, class, and gender made barren by our lack of commemoration. In Muslim cultures, the patriarchal family rules supreme, and yet Hajar was literally thrown out in the desert to fend for herself and her child without even a second's thought to the impossibility of her location as confirmation of patriarchy. How does such a woman who enters the story to confirm patriarchy even survive when the same patriarchy abandons her? Now she reconfigures as the most significant player in the survival of a people and their entire legacy. How then do we reconcile with Abraham, the deadbeat dad, Sarah, the selfish bitch, and even God, the benevolent? The pristine ultra modern conditions of the Hajj pavilion, the grand mosque built around the Kaaba, and even as I type, subject to further more elaborate renovations and expansions, should not detract from the realization of the plight of Hajar and the details of her survival. For while we on the one hand reenact her race for water and drink from the wells of Zamzam still flowing today, I can only think on the other hand of one thing. A single black female head of household not only makes this ritual necessary, but also makes it possible by her tenacity of survival in spite of gross race, class, and gender inequality. Thank you, Hajar. I needed that reminder, and I am heartened by it. That's the end of her writing. Says Amina Wadud is Professor Emerita of Islamic Studies. Islamic Studies. Some people actually going to learn a Deen. SubhanAllah. Now traveling the world over seeking answers to the questions that many of us through our lives, that move many of us through our lives. Author of Quran and Women, rereading the sacred text from a woman's perspective and inside the gender jihad. She will blog on her life journey and anything that moves her about Islam, gender, and justice, especially as these intersect with the rest of the universe. Like I said, I dealt with her before, years, over a decade ago. And I don't know what made this 4-year article re-emerge and everybody started talking about it then. But there's several problems with this, and there's several discussions that we can have with this. I read it, and so what do you think, Habibi? I already know what you think, but let the audience know what you think. I caught you off guard with that one, didn't I?
Yeah, you did catch me off guard. There was a show that I did last year, the year before last, and the title of the show was along the lines of feminists, you don't speak for me.
Mm-hmm.
Feminism have no place in Islam. Those that speak against it clearly is the enemies of Allah and His Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know, those feminists may come back at me and say, "Oh, you just saying that because your husband tell you that, and you believe it, and all this stuff." So you hating men, you gotta hate the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He was a prophet and a man. All the prophets are males, and you're basically saying that Allah made a mistake in which He sent these people to us to guide us to follow Him and obey Him. So I'm on her page right now, and they just like snickering and acting like little girls, whatever. Like, oh, what's the big deal about this article or whatever, And it's like I'm sitting here reading this, and I'm sitting here like this chick have problems. Okay, she got serious problems. And when you start questioning how the Deen was transmitted, you got a problem with that, then go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Like, go follow your whims, because that's exactly what you're doing, but you bringing people with you with that nonsense. Okay? The Deen that I follow has, has a hierarchy. It starts with Allah. You understand? And it, goes down, to the Prophet's label something. That's the thing that I follow. I don't know what she talking about. She can dismiss me with that feminist stuff. And I'm going to follow what I follow. And we'll see on the day of judgment who's right. But may Allah have mercy on our soul. Like her and end up hating Mashid Durrell. And you're talking trash about pilgrimage. You're talking about a worship, a rite, a pillar of Islam that you're supposed to partake in, and you're belittling it. It just tell you how tiny her brain is. She thinks she's so smart. She's stupid. That's all I got to say.
That's something I always say.
And she can come at me all she want to. She don't give me air to breathe. Allah does that. You understand? Allah, the roof over my head, Allah provides that. She don't do that. She ain't nothing but a human being with faults. And with her and her colleagues and people that follow her and champion her and congratulating her and, and all that stuff, she can keep that. Like, subhanAllah, feminism has no place in Islam. It has no place for black women, period. That feminist stuff has a history. It has a place where we don't belong as black women and, people of color. Like, y'all gotta learn y'all history. Like, people just be saying all crazy stuff, but that's junk that she's been talking about right there in that article. She better make a whole lot of tauba. A whole lot of tauba.
There's many problems.
She's a dumb, smart person. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Her brains, she's so smart, she's stupid. I would be lying, but that's how she sound. And I'm looking at her page like she real cocky and arrogant.
Yeah, like she told me, I appreciate you don't email me again.
Yeah, I'm looking at the arrogance. Her page is just exuding arrogance and conceit and pride. All those things that we should not partake in. Like, which Deen are you studying that you supposed to have uju? And that you supposed to have, conceit and, what I'm saying, kibra. Like, you're preaching something and you're not even considering the basic foundations of a human being. You're not possessing that. So you don't represent me. You don't talk for me. And I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. You can come for me if you want to. I'm saying what I got to say.
The amazing thing about it is she's around the same age as my mother, right? Mm. Even if she lived in the same city and they said, she died. Imam Naeem, you going to do the janazah? Hell no. And if you do it, I ain't going. Not praying over her. I mean, that's the reality. Mm-hmm. She called Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam a deadbeat dad. SubhanAllah. That right. She called the wife of a prophet.
Right.
A bee.
Yeah. What kind of mess is that?
And the way she was typing it, she's like she probably in the harem somewhere typing it. Because she was typing.
Some people never give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will have the last word. Yes, they will. They will never get it. If you're not awoke, if your eyes are not open, this is an enemy of Allah and the prophets. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She's an enemy to the Deen, period. What Quran she reading? Not the same one. She reinterpret her own.
Salim said, do you think this Muslim feminist movement is an attack on Islam? If so, how do you think this ideology erodes the fabric of Islam? Mm. See, yes, I definitely believe it's an attack on Islam. How does it erode the fabric of Islam? We live in a time of gross ignorance. Mm-hmm. So while some of us who are trying to be sincere and we trying to study, however successful we are or not, those who are trying to seek knowledge, we kind of like protected from this. Mm-hmm. But there are many Muslims nowadays who are quite content being ignorant, who are content claiming to adhere to a deen that they know nothing about. They are the ones who are vulnerable to people like her.
Right.
And she is openly feminist. Mm-hmm. And I want to say homosexual too.
I was going to say that.
Because when I was dealing with her before, I just don't. I put it out there, but I don't want to say like definitively.
Right.
I'm gonna just say allegedly, because I don't remember what proof I used to come up with that opinion before. But usually, this so-called progressive movement, usually either they themselves are homosexual or they support it. They don't have a problem with it.
Right. They're like,
it's part of the package. It's a package deal. It's like if you're a drug dealer, you understand that getting into shootouts and going to prison is part of the package, not just the money and the drugs. And with this progressive so-called feminist movement, so-called within Islam, homosexuality, the practice and acceptance of it is part of that package. So, so when you see these people with that type of agenda, they're not only pushing feminism, they're pushing homosexuality, they're pushing, all of that stuff. It all goes together.
That's true. The magazine, the Essence magazine, that had all the mostly black women. They had woke up, or we're woke, we woke, whatever. One of them was a transgender on there. Now, this is supposed to be about women. A man is not a woman. I don't care what body parts you exchange. Allah made you what you are. If you don't want to accept that, that's between you and Allah. But you are what you are, and Allah doesn't make any mistake. But what I want to mention was, I'm looking at her page. She making fun of Salafi feminists. Like, how can you be Salafi and a feminist? Yeah. And that's like contradicting.
And that's another thing.
SubhanAllah.
I always try to warn Muslims of this. We don't understand. We have to stop taking the language and the terms of the disbelievers and so-called redefining it and incorporating it. Like, you have a lot of Muslims who try to say I'm a feminist, but I think feminist means such and such and so on.
Right.
You follow me? We shouldn't even do that.
Right.
Because the words we use impact how we think. Why do you think Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Yusuf, Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'alakum ta'akilun, that we have revealed this as an Arabic Quran so that you may use your intellect. Usually they translate it so you can understand. The point that one of the things that come out of this ayat is that the Quranic Arabic has an impact on your intellect, your IQ, the way you think. Anybody that knows even basic Arabic knows that the deeper you get into Arabic, by means of the language, it forces you to think a certain way.
Right.
And that's the way all language is. Your language determines how you think about something.
Right.
So feminism or being a feminist is a package deal. Right. You can't just take part of it and say I'm a feminist, but I don't agree with that part.
No, you have to agree with the whole part. Yeah. Because that's what your belief system is, and that's why, what I was going to mention. SubhanAllah, I forgot. It slipped out my mind.
And think about it. If anybody, if some sincere Muslim sisters may say, I'm a feminist, I'm not like saying what I mean and what dude is saying, but I do think sisters are oppressed and get a bad deal in the deen, and we should fight for their rights. So that's why I say I'm a feminist.
Right.
My question would be, during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when women were arbitrarily getting buried alive just for being a woman, just for being women, if anybody had a right to be a feminist, if you're going to use that argument, they would have a right to be feminist or call themselves feminist.
Right.
And the reality is, feminism was created by and promoted by white women for the purpose of white women. And they used black women to get what they wanted.
I know what I was going to say. The danger in this feminist movement, I don't care what you call yourself, okay? The danger is what it does for a person that is not rooted in knowledge. It make you rethink everything that you learn from Allah, His prophets. Like, it just make you like, okay, is Allah really is it man or is it female? The prophets, like, are they really the prophets? Like, the message that was sent to us, is it really the message that, Allah sent to them?
Or is
like,
it some man?
Right. Is it their interpretation? Like, it just It's it's dangerous.
Why the
Oh, my
damir, the
goodness.
pronoun huwa, which means he. Why do we have to use that for Allah? Why
Right.
can't we use he?
Right. Have you
If
just
God don't
questioned-
have no gender, why
Right.
can't we use the other pronoun?
Right,
I mean, there's no stopping with that.
Right, it's no stopping it, and it just unravels. You just want to question each and every aspect of the deen, that you don't have a deen anymore. It's like, what am I following? And this woman, she's dangerous, and anyone that follows that ideology. And what I also was going to mention, as far as this feminist movement, and subhanAllah, there's a website that I looked at briefly, and this followed this, the Progressive Muslims, and they are the LBGTXYZ community. And did you know that they interpret the story of Prophet Lut, as being just a lesson to teach you how to be hospitable to guests?
Yeah.
They don't say nothing about the condemnation of homosexuality, but yet it's teaching you how to be kind to your guests when they come to your house. That's how they interpret that. That's dangerous. That's not what Allah says. And I say that I make an emphasis on that because there was several lessons that Allah teaches us in that Quran. One is, you don't have to be a lesbo. You don't have to be a dyke. You don't have to be a transgender. You got to be a sympathizer. And you jacked up. Okay?
Exactly.
If you are a sympathizer, you are jacked up. So that's why you have to have the mind. And I tell people all the time, you can do what you want. You want to practice homosexuality, that's on you. But don't force it down my throat to make me accept it. Because Allah doesn't accept it. He teaches against it. The Prophet ﷺ teaches against it. And I'm against it as well. You do what you want to do. But I'm not going to say, well, that's you. Well, I'm just going to, let it. No, I'm not letting it slide. Because the wife of Lut got punished. She got punished along with those that was practicing that. And she wasn't a practicing LGBTXYZ person. And we got to remember that. We got to keep reiterating this over and over and over so that we don't get desensitized to it. Now, if I saw a person, a LBGXYZ person come in my face, I'm going to give them dawah. That's what we're supposed to do. Give them dawah. That is our duty as Muslims. Give them dawah. But your duty is not to sit there and accept their way of life as if it's accept their way of life as if it is something that is justifiable, that is legal, what have you. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. You can call me homophobic. I'm not scared of homos. That's a term that's erroneous. Homophobic. I'm not scared of homos. It's not. I don't like the act. I dislike the act. And I want to dislike it the way that the Prophet ﷺ taught us, and how Allah expects us as Muslims, as human beings, to see that way of life. Because it hurts our community. It hurts our community. It hurts our society. They trying to push that stuff on our children, our little children, on our babies, so that when they grow up, they don't think it's anything wrong with that. You have to speak out against it. I know it's uncomfortable. A lot of us, I know me, I have family members that are part of that community.
So do I.
You got people in your family. I know it's something that's very sensitive, but my views is the same views, and I'll tell them like I would tell a stranger. I might see you in the store. You may be my cashier. A dude that's feminine, and he's like, how you doing today? What's going on? Let me ring you up and all that stuff. And then in my mind, I'm like, subhanAllah, astaghfirullah. I'm good. I'm going to treat them with respect, but I'm going to give them dawah by being someone that has some common sense, that has manners and things like that. Because we supposed to show through word and deed, mashallah.
Wa alaikum salam, bahi, alhamdulillah.
Okay? But I didn't mean to get off the tangent, but subhanAllah, I was
you
just...
got on the tangent.
I'll get on the tangent.
I just put my head down, let you
but
go.
But if y'all got any comments or question on this topic, please call in. We would like to hear your views.
Like I said, the number is 412-567-3030. 412-567-3030. Like I said, this article or this blog that she wrote is a few years old. Like, again, I don't know why it came back up, why people are talking about it now, because it was written in 2013. But everybody's talking about this. And Nadita said on Mixler, she said Gloria Steinem started the white feminist movement.
Right. It was against because the white women weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed to do nothing. They couldn't go out the house, and they white men were getting out. So they decided to conform together. But then say, okay, y'all black women, come on, y'all got gripes with your men, but we had no gripes with our men. Our men that wasn't giving us no problems. They couldn't even get a job.
And a lot of people don't realize that all of this came into being right at the point where black people were fighting for the right to vote. And the white women was like, oh, hell no. I'm your woman. I'm your wife. We're your sisters, your daughters. You gonna let them niggas vote before you let us vote? Because white women couldn't vote.
Right, they couldn't
You
vote.
have to be a white male property owner to vote in this country.
Yeah.
And so this is the the purpose or what spawned this whole feminist movement.
SubhanAllah. We get used all the time, SubhanAllah.
Yeah. Wa alaikum salam, Abdul Rakib.
Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh. But that's not how Allah made it. That's right.
Allah says in the Quran, "Laysa dhakaraka untha." The male is not like the female.
Right.
We're clear on this. You know, we're equal in the sight of Allah with regards to our spirituality, whatever. But our roles are completely different.
And that doesn't make me inferior to you. That's just how Allah said it. You stay in your lane. You stay in your lane. It's all good. Everybody's all over the place.
I mean, and we understand. It's common sense with everything else. But when it comes to this, we don't get it. Can you imagine a basketball team if everybody was a point guard?
Right?
Yeah, just everybody the same.
Right, everybody the same.
Or football, everybody's a running back. Everybody.
But think about...
No quarterback.
But think about the feminist movement. They have a gripe. They have a disdain for men. So everything that they do is because of man. What about the creator of man? Why your gripes are not with him? So everything that you do it because of a man. So I'm going to prove that I'm equal or better than that man. So I'm going to look like a man. I'm going to do like a man. I'm going to feel like a man. all type. Why you got to do that? Like you're messing up already as a human being. Like that shouldn't be your standard. That's not what you should look for as a standard. That man. Your standard should be those examples that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent to mankind, to nations to live, to follow. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you already messed up looking to a man and saying, oh, I got to outdo him. Like, subhanAllah, like that way of thinking is just like, I can't even fathom. It doesn't sit right with me. I couldn't even think like that. And we got to remember, they're trying to make us enemies to one another. Male versus female.
That's what I was just about to say. Because believe it or not, even some of our Muslim sisters who don't claim to be feminists, they have a lot of feminist leanings about them.
Right.
And this is why they enter a marriage situation thinking their husband is their enemy.
Right. That's why we gotta do better, male and females. We need to know our roles and we need to play our parts the way we're supposed to. Because it's easy to point the finger to a brother and say, well, he ain't doing what he's supposed to do. He ain't taking care of it. What are you doing? What are you doing to support him? Brothers, what are you doing to support your wife? What are you doing to make things better? Sometimes things
I'm not doing nothing to support you. How about that?
No, that's why y'all jacked up. That's why women don't have respect for brothers. So sometimes we mess up our own selves. But
matter of fact, maybe I should quit my job and have you take care of me.
I know, right?
How about that?
No, but we need to know our roles.
I stopped playing video games at ColecoVision. I need to catch up with the Xboxes and then the Xboxes, the PlayStation. You think if I stop working and get on PlayStation and stuff like that, and you go to work and you take care of me and the family, you think that's cool?
No.
Well, I need to get PlayStation and stuff. I missed all of that.
And subhanAllah, and it's a lot of brothers that rather stay home and play their games and play with their boys and get these high scores. And a lot of those people, I've seen games being played. It's a lot of white supremacists on them games. Did you know that? They be calling you all types of niggas and stuff on there. And y'all don't care.
Rag hands.
Yeah, all types of stuff. But y'all just playing it. I got to get this score. Like, subhanAllah, like, what's the... Subhanallah. But anyway, we got to know our roles and we got to play them as it should be played. Because we start disrespecting one another. We don't have a trust in one another. Brothers, y'all need to step it up as far as the women. We don't feel, safe. Our property, our honor, our security, we don't feel safe anymore. A lot of us don't feel safe, and it's a reason for that. And I'm not saying it's all on you, but you got to realize, like, y'all got to step your game.
We the pimps and y'all the hoes. No,
we
pimps
not.
Up, hoes down.
No. You so crazy. No.
But that's the way a lot of people think, though.
And then the women, sometimes you do have to get up and support your man. Sometimes it's like that. But don't take away his honor, his position, and degrade him as if he's less than a man while you're doing it. What was your intentions when you're doing that? Did you do that to make him feel like a little boy, to make him feel like he's your son and things like that? So we need to know our roles and things like that. That's why you have people like Amina Wadu coming out and talking trash, and they themselves calling us bees and stuff like that. We're like, what kind of mess is that? Like, that got me upset. I didn't even see the article. I just heard it while you reading that. I'm through. I'm done. Like, she can come at me all she wants to. Allah is my Lord. The Prophet ﷺ is my messenger and prophet. And the Deen of Islam is my deen, my way of life. And you can't change it.
No, I didn't read it yet. Inshallah, I'm going to read it after the show. Brother Salim said, have you read the article that sister has posted on her wall? How can Muslims reclaim their religion from men?
And that's the thing, reclaim it from men. Okay, the prophet was a man, right? He sent the message, right? He brought the message to us. He taught it to us, to his Sahabas, right? And then you have Angel Jibril. Angel Jibril don't have a sex and gender. We know that. Angels don't have a gender. Allah doesn't have a gender, right? Okay, so what the prophet brought. So basically what she's saying, the prophet brought falsehood. That's not what I'm saying. So from the prophet through the Sahabas, through the Tabi'een, the Tabi'een, the scholars, all the way down that were men, even though there was women amongst those teachers, right, and scholars, all that information is erroneous. We need to throw it out the window, and we need to rewrite history. That sounds stupid. That is idiotic. I can't tell my
There's something else more sinister in that article. She played the black card. Mm-hmm. Hydra, the black woman. Mm-hmm. Against Sarah, the other woman. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think we should take that for granted. Mm-hmm. Because it's sad to say there's some so-called Muslim, and I'm putting so-called.
Yes, exactly. Yep, hijacked by men. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's some so-called Muslims who actually left Islam because of al-Asabiyah. Mm-hmm. I mean, you got so-called Muslims right now. I mean, when I say so-called, I mean, they claim a madhab, they claim, to be Ashari or Maturidi, they claim to be traditional and all that kind of stuff. And they support false prophets. They support false prophets. They support Elijah Muhammad. They support Drew Ali. Mm-hmm. In spite of all of that knowledge, because of the Asabiyah. Right. So don't sleep on al-Asabiyah. Mm-hmm. If Asabiyah can get a person to commit kufr, disbelief, how about this woman playing the black card, the Asabiyah card?
Well, let me throw this out here. Mm-hmm. Now, like he said, the feminist movement is that this deen was hijacked by men. What I see here also is that what she's doing is making Islam as like it's not legitimate. You know what I'm saying? It's not legitimate. So it's nothing to really practice in theory or, in practice or in theory. And by that, this is attack against the white supremacists and those agents of that because they make war on Islam. See, Islam has to be real for them to do what they do. Mm-hmm. So she's their enemy too. You understand? They don't have feminists on their team. You gotta be a white supremacist. White supremacists doesn't have feminists on their court, in their camp at all. Just think about it, because they're against them too. So it's like, what team? She's not on anybody's team. They're a team by themselves, and so she's attacking us as Muslims that want to practice, and then she's attacking those white supremacists in the system of white supremacy to say, you know, it's full of men, right? They make up their laws. They determine who has rights and everything, depending on your race and how much is in your pocket and things like that. So she's not just talking to us; she's talking to them too. She's an enemy of them too.
Again, she's not talking to us.
No, she's not. She is, but I'm just saying she's talking to us as far as, you know, making us feel inferior or feel like, listen, what is y'all practicing? Because, you know, this is what I see. But I'm saying she's attacking us to make us feel like this Deen that we hold on to is not real. It's not legitimate. It has no basis. It's based on X, Y, what she think. But she also is attacking the white supremacy system as well, if you think about it.
No, she thinks she is.
She thinks
because
she is,
even the feminist movement is supported through the back door by the white supremacists.
Yeah, through the back
door. Because if they wanted to crush that, they'll just crush it.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but
you know, they use the white supremacists, the feminists, to destabilize the black family.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's a tool that they use.
Right.
Just because you don't see their hand on the tool, don't think that their hand is not on it.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is, in order for the white supremacists to exist, there's certain things that have to be in play that has to be, you know, tangible. You understand? Islam is tangible. The feminists, they're like, that's just like you having people on your boat and they putting holes in the boat. Y'all all on the boat. Y'all probably getting somewhere, but you got some people, occupants there, putting holes in the boat. Y'all can't go nowhere. So that's how the feminists are playing, like as if you say through the back door. That's how their position is in that boat. They're in the boat of white supremacy, but they're putting holes in it. Oh, the man is the head of the house and the woman is the backbone.
I don't necessarily agree with that.
Well, mashallah, that's what I think.
Because the feminists, every come up in progress they made, every so-called right that they got, they usurped it from black people. When black people got certain so-called rights, those people who rode the wave of feminism came in and got the benefits that were supposed to go to the descendants of former slaves.
Right.
So again, they're used by the white supremacists. That's why we shouldn't use vague terms like people of color and minority, because these same white women are included in that.
Right. Well, when I say color, I don't mean white women.
And so they come along. Their purpose is to usurp benefits that were intended for other people, because the same white man that she's fighting against, she's still benefiting from his wealth and everything that he's getting.
Of course.
So she's not losing anything. She don't need to vote. The people who represent her is already in power.
True.
That's just a game. It's a hustle.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I understand. Mashallah. You're right, because you're a man. Okay, let me see. Let me go back to the comments. Allah made Adam, then he made Eve. Right. He didn't make Eve. Adam and Steve. I used to say that back in the day. So she gonna rediscover America while she at it. Yep. Exactly. Allah
I just want to mention she spent her time in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Philly, stand up, claim your sister.
The man is the head of the household. The woman is the backbone. Wa alaikum salam to Akeem Abdul Rahim. Thank you for joining us. MashaAllah. So, you got to know your place. You got to know your role, and you got to be content in it and be able to defend it. A lot of us don't know how to do that. We don't know how to defend our position. We're just followers. Some of us are just followers, and we don't know why we're following. It's not enough to just follow. You need to know what you are following, what you believe in. So when it comes to being defended, you are able to stand your ground.
Okay, she called Prophet Ibrahim a deadbeat dad. How would you defend that?
I ain't defending that.
I mean, excuse me, how would you defend the proper? How would you refute that?
He's a deadbeat dad?
Yeah, that's what she said.
Well, deadbeat dad, well, I know of prophets. There are 3 things that they possess. They're truthful, they're trustworthy, and they relay the message.
Right.
So if you're a deadbeat dad, that means you're not doing your full doing your part to the fullest, to what is expected of you. So that description does not apply to him at all. And the prophets, they're free from that. That don't even make sense. SubhanAllah. In the article, it says that the feminist race face a triple challenge similar to other women of color. Must read article because this is their play. I'm trying to look. Hold on.
You didn't really answer my question, but
I did answer the question.
My question is, let me rephrase it. She slandered Prophet Ibrahim. How would you defend him? I'm rephrasing the question.
How would I defend him?
Yeah, because she said that basically she's saying that Prophet Ibrahim took Hajar to the desert with her child and left her there and rode. How would you defend Prophet Ibrahim?
Prophets do not do things on their own accord. They're by revelation. So Allah, we know the story. Allah told him to do that because the first thing that Hajar asked him, did your Lord command you to do this? And he said, yes. She said, I'm good. I know he will not desert me.
Alhamdulillah. See, well, what we learned from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Ma anzalallah da'a illa anzalallahu shifa." That Allah does not send down a disease, except that He sends down right along with it its cure.
Right.
Right. So whenever somebody tries to lie and try to twist the Deen and try to, make the Deen seem like it's something that it's not, that's a disease. That's a sickness. And usually the truth or the refutation of what they're saying is in the same thing that they're quoting. And just like you said, when you read the narrative, Ibrahim was walking away, alayhi salam. And she said, you're going to leave us out here with no food, no water, no people whose company we may enjoy? He kept walking. He didn't respond. And she repeated this 2 or 3 times. And then she said, did your Lord command you to do this? And then he turned around and said, yes. And then she said, well, I know that our Lord will not forsake us.
Right.
And she was cool with that.
She was cool.
Like you said. So the only way her narrative or what her twist that she's trying to put on it, she has to take Allah out of the picture.
Right.
And she has to quote half of the story.
Right.
And this is what most liars do. They put enough truth in it to convince you, but they leave part out. And this is exactly what she did. She left that part of the story out. And she left all parts of divine intervention of the story out. When she talked about the well of Zamzam, she left Angel Jibril part out. Right? She just conveniently not telling significant parts of the story.
And if you're not rooted in knowledge, you don't know. You understand? If you don't know and you listen to her, you're like, that don't sound right. I'm dealing with that right now. My baby daddy left us with, like you equated with your situation, and the prophets are not like us. They're men, but they're not like us. They're a different breed. SubhanAllah. Came about when the child support system wanted to label men who didn't want to pay child support. Also, Debbie can be any parent who does not take care of their children. Right. Exactly.
And so this is what she's accusing Prophet Ibrahim of.
She gonna have to make tawbah. Now, does this make her a kafir? Like, does she have to take her shahada with all this crazy stuff that she's saying?
Of course. Read the Shifa of Qadiyat. The author talks about those who slander and malign prophets. Not only Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but all of the other Anbiya.
So she going to have to take her shahada over and make tawbah. And we have to remember, Islam is not like Christianity. You don't stay Muslim just because you say you Muslim. You may do things that take you out that you have to renew your shahada over.
That's another thing, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
SubhanAllah.
A lot of people think just because you say that you Muslim, and how dare you tell me I'm not a Muslim?
Exactly.
Oh, you must be a Wahhabi. You making takfir on me. When you violate the very essence of a thing, you can't be. That's common sense. If I told you I'm an electrician, and I didn't even know how to screw in a light bulb, never been with an electrician, never been to school for don't know anything about electrical work, I would sound stupid to you if I argued you down about my right to be called an electrician.
Right.
You can't tell I'm not an electrician. You're like, Naeem, you don't even know how to screw in a light bulb. So what? Who are you to say that I can't call myself an electrician? Who are you to determine who is an electrician, who's not an electrician? You're like, Naeem, were you trying to be funny or something? Mm-hmm. You don't even know how to do a light bulb, Aki. You don't even know how to replace an outlet. How you be an electrician? It don't matter. I have the right to call myself an electrician. Right? You violate the very essence of your deen. You violate the very essence of La ilaha illallah, Muhammadan Rasulullah, and you claim to be a Muslim.
SubhanAllah.
You don't pray half the time. You don't pray. You don't feel like you need to pray.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, you just unravel everything. Like, the Prophet taught us how to pray. So you like, well, I'm not going to pray because it was a man that told me how to pray. So I'm going to pray however I want to pray. I'm going to worship Allah. Well, I'm not even going to worship Allah. I'm going to worship whatever I feel like I feel. It just opened up a can of worms. Like, SubhanAllah. Like, it just...
I'm looking on one of my brother's stat, and there's a whole long discussion about mocking her, right? Mm-hmm. You can disagree without mocking her. And one of the things I notice about these situations, they get off the issue out at hand, and they focus on the personality. Both sides of the argument. Mm-hmm. Like, both sides will call her names. The other side will defend that, hey, just deal with the issue, you should call her names. And the real issue gets lost in the argument about mocking the person, not mocking the person, disrespecting the person, not dealing with the issue.
But look at the disrespect she's showing to Allah and His Messenger and all the prophets.
Exactly.
SubhanAllah, that's the issue. I don't know. We need help. We all need help. We all need help. SubhanAllah.
Somebody just screenshot something she said on Twitter. Says, yep, abandoned a mother with her nursing baby in the desert, deadbeat.
A'udhu billah. A'udhu billah. You know what? Ooh. Oh, it's backward.
It's backward. Let me find her on Twitter. Hold on.
SubhanAllah. A'udhu billah.
I'm not going through it.
No, don't even give her that shine.
Yeah.
The prophets are not deadbeats. Because what you're saying is the SubhanAllah, you're just attacking the whole bloodline, the lineage of the prophets.
Which is the goal, in my opinion. Allah knows best what's in her heart and her backers. Because you notice, you can make some money. If you got, academic credentials, and you claim to be Muslim, and you attack Islam, you'll start getting all types of book deals, speaking appearances, lecture circuit. You'll be all right.
See, she's trying to trying to get people out there to come out and debate her. That's what she's doing. She's doing stuff like throwing stuff out there, like poking, like, see, I said this here. See if they say something now. See if they say this right here now. She's doing that for a reason.
She's an attention whore. She's an attention whore. But she don't want to debate.
I think she will now.
I don't think so. Because even back then, 12, 13 years ago, she was arrogant then.
Nah, I think she would debate now.
She would debate. See, when you debate someone, that's why when people have organized debates, I'm not talking about arguments that people have on social media. When you debate someone, you have to agree upon certain things. There have to be guidelines. Mm-hmm. And she wouldn't debate someone like me because we're not going to be able to agree on a premise. Mm-hmm. If you're going to debate me, we're going to have to agree on the what's the word? The sanctity of the Quran and the Sunnah and the traditional agreed upon interpretations of the holy text. Right. The Quran and Sunnah. Right. Her whole premise is none of that is sacred.
Mm-hmm. Right. Nope, because it was written by a man.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. But they going in and whatever on that. Yeah. But yeah.
So I personally think, I don't know her history in depth, and Muslims don't gamble. But if we were to gamble, if she was to be honest, I can almost say without even knowing her, that she was traumatized by some man in her early childhood. That's usually the common denominator with women who have this vociferous anti-man perspective and outlook on life. Some man raped her or molested her, or she saw it done to some woman that was close to her. Some traumatic event happened, and this, what I believe, is fueling her anti-man.
Could have been her father. Could have been somebody in her family.
Most of them have this in common.
SubhanAllah.
There's a reason for it. This is why I always quote the hadith that, you know, every child is born upon the fitrah. It is his parents that make the child Jew, Christian, or fire worshiper, right? Because it is that the environment in the household laid down by the parents that determine what, you know, how we are when we grow old, when we get older. This is why anybody who does social work or psychiatry or psychology, when they want to ascertain or triage, you get to the root of why a person is acting abnormally or not displaying the socially normative behavior. They delve into the person's childhood. Tell me how it was when you were growing up.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Well, we're both parents in the house. You know, how did your mother treat you? How did your father treat you? How did they treat each other? How many brothers and sisters did you have? You know, how was that like? Explain it to me. Because it's simple. When you deal with a traumatic event in your childhood, it shapes and it affects and it impacts how you are when you get older. So, and this is why I strongly discourage brothers from marrying sisters who have this anti-man outlook on life. Because a lot of times there are issues, because a lot of sisters won't even admit to it, much less deal with it. And so they put all or most men in that bag. And this is the same reason I caution Muslim women from marrying men who have
anti-women.
Exactly, anti-women perspective.
Yep.
They may have grown up in the household when they moms was the neighborhood hoe.
Right.
They go to sleep at night. They go to sleep at night, and they moms done had like 3 or 4 dudes up in the house in one night. And the man grew up, and the boy grew up watching his moms be a hoe.
Right, subhanAllah. Yeah.
And so he's going to, in his mind, psychologically, he may process that and say, all these sisters is hoes. They ain't no different than my moms.
So they treat them like trash.
I just get what I want from them and move on.
Exactly.
And that's traumatic for a young boy growing up through that. And so that's why I warn brothers and sisters from, you know, watch who you, like when I see sisters on Facebook and every other post is against the men, even if what they're saying is true, that brothers be doing this, brothers be doing that, but that's your whole wall all day.
Yeah.
Why I ain't marrying her, and I recommend you don't marry her.
Yeah.
Even if I don't know her.
Yeah.
Because when a person loves a thing, they mention it often. And this is what many of our scholars, and some attributed to the Prophet ﷺ, have said about love. And so when you mention your disdain for men or women over and over and over again, this is something that's part of you.
This part, yeah.
And it's going to come out. And this is why some of us, our marriages don't work. Because you want love, but you hate the opposite sex. You were traumatized when you were young. You don't want to deal with it.
Right.
Whatever happened to you is too painful for you to deal with it. So instead of dealing with it, you know, I'm just going to keep going in and out this relationship.
You keep pushing people away. You don't get emotionally involved with them. You don't get attached because you're afraid that something's going to happen. I have, and I'm practiced Muslim, married to my wife, but she's not Muslim. How can I bring her to Islam?
My advice is to be a Muslim all the way. Not saying that you're not. What I'm saying is everybody that I know of that married a non-Muslim, it was that person's practice of Islam that brought them to the Deen themselves. Not just the ibadat, you know, the prayer, the fasting, and all of these things, but the mu'amalat, those things, your interaction with Allah's creation. Like, are you kind? Are you charitable? Do you take care of her rights? Are you truthful? Are you honest? All of these things. You know, our wives watch us, and even if even if you married to a non-Muslim, she's watching you. She want to see if you really Muslim.
Yep.
And so my advice is just to be Muslim. A lot of us, we're Muslim only without ibadah. Like we make all our prayers on time. We wear thobe, we wear kufi, we wear turban, we grow a beard. We fast during the month of Ramadan. We may even get up during the night and pray. We may have even made Hajj. All of that is ibadat. But that same brother, he'll steal your money. You lend him $10, he won't give it back to you. Everything that come out of his mouth, he's a liar.
Right.
You can't trust him with nothing. He'll slander and backbite and all of that. So when it comes to ibadat, they got it down. They got the sunnah, the outward sunnah down. But when it comes to dealing with other people, like a lot of us, we're slimy. We're real slimy, greasy, underhanded, conniving, trickery, khiyana, treacherous type people. We're like snakes. And so we slither around and we all up in each other's relationships and destroying families and hustling people out of money. And this is where a lot of brothers are. Your wife sees that. And she says, Islam, this is a nigga right here. This is not a Muslim. What I'm reading in this Quran that he got laying on the shelf is not what I see in the bed next to me. It's two different things. Now I'm cool.
Right. He got a question too.
Assalamu alaikum. I have a question. Would you marry a woman that's already legally married but not to a Muslim? Please give some information on this issue. Alhamdulillah. We did a whole show on that. When you say legally married, I assume by the state. To answer your question, you asked, would I? No. Do I think that it is haram? I personally don't think that it is haram. If she was divorced Islamically, and all of the prerequisites have been made, and she's Islamically divorced, or saying another way, she's divorced in the eyesight of Allah, or her marriage is null and void because the time has expired. She became Muslim and because when a Muslim, if you got two Kafirs that are married and the woman becomes Muslim, the man has a little time, a few months before he embraces Islam. If he doesn't embrace Islam during that time, Islamically speaking, her marriage is null and void because a Muslim woman cannot be married to a non-Muslim man. So if the sister is in that situation, according to the Deen, she's not married. But maybe according to the state, she's married. So I'll answer your question two ways. Is it permissible for a Muslim man to marry a Muslim sister in that situation? Yes. Would I marry a sister in that situation? No. Because in my mind, clear up that situation. Get the legal divorce. And the few situations that I have seen where a Muslim sister was still legally married to her non-Muslim or even her Muslim husband, but just didn't go through the formality of getting a legal divorce, there was still some strings attached, and there was still some connection there. I'm just talking about from experience, from what I've seen. And so that's why I say I wouldn't marry a sister like that. If you really over this man, then get the legal divorce. So I hope I answered your question.
Well,
yeah. So exactly. Salim said also, nigga behavior gives the feminist ammunition. Yes. And even like the sisters I talk about that always dogging brothers out on their social media, they're not making hypothetical situations up. Brothers is doing it.
Yeah.
Brothers are doing it. So we give them ammunition.
Yeah. Sure is. So if y'all brothers is laying up, scratching y'all private parts, and the sister having to do a whole lot, and you're not supporting her, you're not trying, you got to expect that. But sisters, on the other hand, there's a more tactful way of handling the situation. If you want remedy, then you need to have counsel, get counsel, some type of mediation in the situation instead of just talking about it. Because most of the time when a sister is airing out the brother this, the brother that, or vice versa, what they're actually doing is trying to let other people know, don't marry them. Like they're trying to discredit them. discredit their character. And so they try to make it less of a chance for them to marry somebody else.
And that actually increases the chance.
Yeah.
You
do the opposite.
Exactly. Because we done spoke about at least twice on this show, including, I think, last week.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all sisters, women in general, but we Muslim, we talk about Islamic issues. A lot of y'all sisters, y'all hate each other. Women in general. And so just by one woman saying, don't marry brother, he's a bum, that's going to be some sister become interested in him.
Yeah. Like, what? Why?
That's how y'all do. Y'all don't recognize that. Don't marry him. He's a bum. Y'all think y'all doing something. Y'all do a screenshot. This brother right here is a bum, right? Don't marry him. He did this and he did that to me. I guarantee you, as soon as you posted that screenshot, some other sister was in her inbox, in his inbox. Like, yeah, how you doing, brother? Yeah, they talking about you bad over there. I don't believe. I know there's two sides to every story, brother. Right? And so she married. So you actually did the opposite.
SubhanAllah. Yeah. There's ways to handle things, and we just gotta be smart about it. We have to know. Like I said, I can't reiterate this enough. We got to know our roles, and we need to play those roles and not go outside those boundaries. Allah established these boundaries. We got to remember that. Foremost, Allah established these boundaries. Who are we to go beyond that or try to rewrite where the boundaries start and end and things like that? Like, that's not our place at all.
Hassan Ali said a few things. I think he's commenting on a video that got disconnected earlier.
Oh, okay.
He's definitely listening or watching, but I think he's commenting on the other video that stopped. He said I identify as an electrician. He does electrical work too, by the way. He said, "Whoa, isn't a non-Muslim marriage still valid as long as the prerequisites are still present? It's still a contract. Usually, her witness is valid." No, I was talking about a Muslim woman being married to a non-Muslim man.
Yeah, that's not valid.
And just to reiterate, I said if you have two non-Muslims, and the woman becomes Muslim, then he has a certain amount of time before the man has a certain amount of time to become Muslim, or that marriage will become null and void.
SubhanAllah. Very informative session. Thank you for dealing with real Muslim life issues. Alhamdulillah.
Like I said, this a lot of times, and I hope y'all catch on. A lot of times, we may use an article, we may use something that's going on in the news or something like that to discuss the issue. We're not necessarily focusing on what we've read, like we read the situation about Ayub Abdul Alim in Massachusetts, who wife played a part in getting him locked up and stuff like that. The issue wasn't necessarily about him. It was about dealing with treacherous women.
Right.
And this issue with Amina Wadud, she touched on a lot of issues that affect, our marriages and stuff. As Aima said, also when sisters, she may be emotionally paining and no other way to rid the pain. And for her ibadah may not be enough for her. Would you speak to this? Allah spoke to it in Surah Mujadilah, the woman who complains to her Lord. And again, I think because you correct me if I'm wrong, when sisters vent to each other, the pain don't go away.
No.
You know what I mean? And from what I observe from sisters in their conversation, she may get a temporary feel good because everybody's co-signing her, and she feels like she has this sisterhood and everything, but the pain don't go away.
No.
And so the issue is being connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Right. What's her connect? That's what I was gonna say. Her connection with Allah determines whether if the deen suffice her. If it's supportive of her. Yet you going through stuff, but you're content that, okay, I'm going through this test and I know Allah wouldn't put me through this. Like, that would be your mindset. You're not looking at, he did me wrong and I'm just going to come out of my guards. I'm not going to pray no more. Like, you're not hurting Allah when you're doing this. You're hurting yourself. So you're actually doing this because of him. And you're not doing it because of Allah. Because if you had a real connection, if you was doing what you're supposed to do, that's the last thing you want to do. That's the last thing that you want to jeopardize. So that's why you're easy to say, well, this is not enough. Because I know sisters that feel like the deen is not enough. Like this, I'm going through stuff and I just can't do this anymore. Like, what was your relationship with Allah? Did you connect with your Quran? Did you read it? Did you internalize it? All these things you should have been doing anyway before him and during him and after him. That should be constant. And if you're not doing that, you're the problem. It's not him, it's you. Because you're taking him as your tagu, as your illah, and not Allah himself. That's in my opinion. That's what's going on. When you're not eating correctly, a lot of us are not eating halal. We're not eating zabihah foods. And we're wondering why we make dua and it's not being answered. That's the problem. What are you doing as a Muslim? Are you being a Muslim, or you just claim, you're just saying it by the tongue? It's a whole lot that we can discuss, but it's deep down, it's easy to point the finger at the other person. What are you doing? What are you doing as a mu'min, as a believer, as a amatullah?
And just to add to what you
said, that's
a lot of you sisters, you have bad companions.
A lot of you sisters?
Yeah, a lot of you sisters. A lot of you sisters, right? I'm getting to the brothers too, but a lot of you sisters, because when a sister complains about her situation, most sisters won't tell a sister what you just said. Mm-hmm. They just go ahead and just tell, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm in the same situation. I feel you, sister. Yeah, ain't none of them no good, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They don't say that kind of.
But we do. And they don't listen. They're like, "Oh, I do everything I'm supposed to do." That's that's everything. I be that turn
and like a lot of brothers, and this used to be rare. Excuse me. This used to be rare, but you have brothers that will talk about sinning in Jamaa'ah. Like there was a time when it'll be a group of brothers standing around or wherever, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe a half-naked woman or whatever may walk by, and everybody noticed she there. But if a brother looked, the brother might akilo your gaze. But now that's rare. The same group of brothers nowadays be standing there. They be like, man, subhanallah. Yeah. Then somebody will say, man, I hit that. I ain't gonna lie, I hit that too. Oh, man, she holding, right? And if the one brother say, astaghfirullah, right? Aki, what y'all doing? Oh, come on, Aki. Tell me you don't like that? Mm-hmm. Well, right. Oh, you all pious now. I forgot. Yeah. Right? This is the holiest thou. You know what I mean? And so, well, us brothers and sisters, a lot of times we have bad companions who don't remind us of Allah when we get weak. And this is why and most of us, we don't like to look at ourselves. Like when we have situations, we refuse to look at ourselves. We refuse to look in the mirror. And when we look in the mirror, we have to look and see how did we play a part in the problem? And then after the problem, who do we have advising us? We go to social media and we have some people we don't even know giving us advice on our situation. And we think we get this temporary feeling of good because, like, there's that meme that, where they say you complain about your problems, the picture of somebody complain about their problems, then you got the other dude with his feet kicked up eating popcorn, watching like, yeah, tell me more. That's really, that's real. Because it's entertainment. Or where you going through with your husband? That nigga a bum? Tell me some more. MashaAllah, sister. Alhamdulillah, yeah. Keep going, yeah. Hold on, let me get that slushy, right? Tell me more about your husband, right? It's just entertainment. Most of us can't afford a cable no more, so we go on social media to get our entertainment. Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah. Sister Nadita says, Alhamdulillah, my companions are great reminders. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. And good companions is rare. They're hard to come by. Alhamdulillah. So, alhamdulillah. And we know Prophet Ibrahim, alayhi salam, is far from a deadbeat dad. But you do got some deadbeat dads out here. Mm-hmm. I don't even like the term deadbeat dad. But you got a lot of brothers who can, but don't take care of their children. Let me repeat. You got a lot of brothers who can, but do not take care of their children. And you have a lot of sisters, a lot of women who are getting financial support from the fathers of their children, and they use it for their own selfish benefit and don't take care of their children. You know how much child support money goes to buying weave? Them disgusting looking eyelashes and all of this stuff. You know how much child support money goes to pay admission to the club? I mean, so what does deadbeat dad mean? Well, they say, Brother Salim mentioned it earlier, defined it earlier, where a dad who doesn't support their children. They have children, they're not with their mother no more, and they don't support their child. Mm-hmm. And so, and it's sad, you have Muslims, a lot of Muslims who fall in this category. And brothers, I know that it's permissible. I'm not knocking it. But some of us who have one wife and don't have enough money to support or take care of another wife, and then we marry another wife, and both of these sisters agree to it initially, emphasis on the word initially, and then everything goes wrong, they're using your situation as a tool against Islam and against marriage, right? And my advice, Hen said, make sure support ain't only financial. They could come around and that will be cool. Yeah,
sometimes that's even more because children need their parents, both of them, whether they together or not.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Wa alaikum salam, Shafi. What was I saying?
You were saying about the brother, about the women agreeing.
Yeah, because when a sister want to marry a brother, they'll agree to everything. You promise you'll send me the Brooklyn Bridge after 1 year of marriage? Yes, Habibi, anything. When you get on your feet, you take care of me? Yes, yeah, anything. And it's usually the wife that's already there that's like, wait a minute, hold up. You're not even taking care of me. Mm-hmm. And you're going to marry somebody else? Mm-hmm. And the brother thinking, hold up, the sister agreed to marry me, even though she knew I was having financial difficulties. And she knew I was polygynous. So why is she having a problem? That's a way a lot of us think in our logic. Listen, brothers, if you don't, I'm not saying it ain't permissible to get married. I'm not talking about permissibility. I'm talking about arguments and tools that sisters use to go against brothers. They'll use your situation where you was broke and couldn't afford one wife but had 2 and 3 wives as an excuse to talk up against polygyny, Muslims, Islam, marriage, and all of that. And you'll be the example that they use. Bahi said, Jazakallah khairan for this wonderful truth. I had just returned from Salatul Fajr here in Doha, Qatar, and Open FB, and Allah bless me to hear you live again. Jazakallah khairan. Wa hayyakum. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Shukran for your support and listening. I think that us brothers need to be able to check each other. And usually when we say checking each other, check don't mean you got to disrespect somebody.
Right.
Like usually when one of these situations come up, and the brother or the brothers hear about it, we don't want to say nothing. We like, mashallah, like, it's hard to find a brother nowadays to be like, Aki, you wonder why your wife mad? You broke, huh? You don't have no money, and you got 2 wives. Well, why can't you understand how she mad? But she agreed to forfeit her rights.
No.
It has to be somebody, to be able to talk sense into the brothers. They still need to take care of their children. There's no excuse. I agree. Who's trying to make an excuse? Did I miss something? And then we in America, so so somebody need to check Hotline for making me sand tiles. Ooh, Hassan Ali, your wife Hind is getting on you.
Yeah. We're not giving anybody excuse from their responsibilities. Everybody has their responsibilities. As parents,
Right.
as the mother, you're responsible to raise your kids just as the father do.
But I got to throw this in there because I know several brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who some of them are accused of not financially taking care of their children.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at their situation, they're not supposed to be taking care of their children. They're supposed to have custody of their children. They're supposed to be taking care of it all the way. Not getting visitation and all that kind of stuff. Their children's supposed to be living with them in the house, Islamically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and again, I don't like this whole man against woman, all that, and throwing dirt at each other. The bottom line is that we all need to fear Allah.
Right.
And we all need to have that mindset that whatever Allah and His messenger say, however Islam is supposed to be practiced, I'm going to practice it that way to the best of my ability. And if I don't like it, I'm going to like it whether I like it or not. And a lot of people, our Islam is like, okay, I'm going to follow that part of Islam because I'm cool. I don't have a problem with it.
Right.
That other part of Islam, I don't like that. So we're going to put that on the hold. Maybe y'all can do that, but I'm not going to do that. Maybe later on, but right now I don't like that part of the deen. I'm not ready for that yet, so we're just going to ignore that right now, and we're going to get to this other thing that I agree with. And this is why we have problems. And this is why a lot of marriages have problems. Because inside the marriage, both of y'all was playing with some aspect of the deen. And then when the marriage goes south, y'all want to dry snitch on each other or wet snitch on each other,
right,
and put each other out. Both of y'all was playing in the deen. Both of y'all was compromising. Or that brother ain't no good. He was getting high. Or that sister foul. She was watching porn. And they start snitching on each other. But y'all was cool with it as long as y'all got along.
Yeah,
right?
when y'all was together, it was all good. It was all gravy.
Yeah. So we got to be the type of people that we submit to the deen all the way together. When you do a crime with somebody, like when you do a crime, you steal something, you whatever, ain't no honor among thieves.
No honor among thieves.
I guarantee you. Just randomly pick a movie out of your head where they robbed a bank or stole some diamonds. They're thieves. What always happens in a movie? They get away. And they're organized. They know how to cut glass. They know how to break in the safe. They know how to get around the alarm. They know what time the police. They're organized. They're like a business. They should have went into something else, something legal. They can make some money. But they all agreed to do this crime together, to steal something. And then when they get away, what happens? We all know what happens. One person wants to rob everybody else who robbed the bank.
Yeah.
And then they start attacking each other. Then somebody gets caught. And then
one will get righteous. They don't want to be part of it no more.
Right? And so it's the same. These movies. Don't think it's just these movies. You learn a lot about human psychology in these things. It's the same thing in a marriage. You two, husband and wife, y'all committed several crimes together against Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In that household, y'all knew y'all was doing stuff that was haram. And y'all both was cool with it.
Yeah.
But then one of y'all flipped on the other one. You married that other sister. You did this. You got caught with that brother inboxing you, and you didn't say nothing, you front with the other brother, or whatever happened to make y'all flip on each other. Now y'all having problems. And now you're talking about divorce or getting divorced. Now you want to blow each other up. Oh, he did this, she did that. But when y'all was doing it, you knew it. You knew it, and y'all was cool. Y'all both the problem.
SubhanAllah. Wow. And that remind me of, with the polygyny situation, of sister, and I'm not talking about all sisters, but a sister will allow the brother to lay up, not go to work, eat up the food, all this, play game, play their Xbox, whatever, all day, every day. And as soon as he say he want to get another wife, and don't say, well, how could he get another wife? He go get another wife. And now you want to call him all types of bums and all that stuff and how he ain't got no money. But you already knew that when you was with him and you didn't say nothing. But when he went and go marry somebody else, now you got a problem. Yeah. If it was a problem, why you ain't take care of it then? Why you ain't dress it then?
Well, his bumness started when he wanted to marry the other sister? Or was his bumness retroactive to when he was only with you? His bum status was there from day one, but you was cool with the bum. Was cool long as he was only your bum.
You was cool with it, so subhanAllah. Yeah, we just gotta know our lane, know our roles, stay in our lanes,
right? And
we'll be okay. That's the book in the Sunnah. You understand? Allah tells us exactly what we're supposed to do. Right. We just have to follow the directions, and if we don't know how to do it, look at the ways of the Prophet ﷺ, his mannerism, the Sahabas, how they acted, the people of Medina. You understand? It's so many examples that you can take from to know what you're supposed to do as a male and as a female, as a woman, as a man, as a wife, as a husband, as a Muslim, and as a Muslim. It's all there.
When you agree to violate, because all these situations, Allah is not even in the equation.
Right. That's the problem.
And that's the problem. Because when we in these marriages, we agree to disobey Allah. We may not say it like that, but this person, you doing something haram. I know it. I don't say nothing about it. I'm doing something haram. You know it. You don't say nothing about it. And it goes unspoken. Because I got dirt on you, you got dirt on me, but we together, and I love you, you love me, we're going to be quiet. But you forgot, Allah is in control of all of this.
Right.
And Allah is going to also punish you for being cool and not reminding me with my sin and vice versa. So we forget Allah's in the equation here, even though we don't want to include him in the equation. And so, these are, mashallah. And we started off this conversation about, again, I wish somebody would tell me what made Amina Wadud's article started trending again, because it's like 4 years old. What made people just start talking about it today, or yesterday, whenever people started talking about it? But yeah, so we got Muslims arguing with each other about her whole article was or blog, whatever it was problematic. Well, obviously the most problematic part was her calling Prophet Ibrahim a deadbeat dad, Prophet Abraham. And she called his wife, Sada, the B word. This chick is bold. SubhanAllah. See, Allah's out of the equation with her. Allah ain't got nothing to do with this.
No. And she gonna tell you to reevaluate that, our concept of Allah.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. That's how she have you thinking.
She has a new fan base because there are younger Muslims that subscribe to feminism. And again, as I said earlier in the show, if you want to take on the banner of protecting the rights of women, do that. Don't call it feminism. Call it Islam.
Right.
Because Islam defends and protects the rights of women. Why you have to call it something else?
Right.
I'm a feminist. No, you're not. You're a Muslim. I don't care what you say. If you say you're a feminist, I'm putting you in the bag with Margaret Sanger and the rest of those so-called feminists, regardless of how much you deny it.
Right.
Because that comes with a vocabulary, it comes with a mindset, it comes with an objective, and it comes with an intrinsic attack on manhood or masculinity, or as she says, patriarchy. Mm-hmm. And this deen is not a patriarchal deen. This deen is the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah has set up orders in certain things. And so you not liking the order, you're not being pleased with the sunnah of Allah. That's the bottom line. You cannot escape it. Hence said women subscribe to feminism when they've been hurt. Women should subscribe to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when they've been hurt. And men be getting hurt too. We just don't express it the same way. Well, now we express it the same way. Because men are acting like women now.
Yeah.
Boo-hoo. These women out here ain't no good. This is Muslim brothers. You know, they boo-hooing on social media about all of these women and all kind of stuff and venting. You know, brothers need to vent too. Brother, take off your dress and put on the izar. You know, calm down, Aki. Take it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I've been in marriages that didn't work. My mentality, and I've said it over and over again, even if I divorced the sister and I believe it's her fault, my mentality is, okay, did you know that she was like this before you married her? Okay, if you didn't know, did you see signs? And for me, the answer is always yes. And so the next question to myself is, why did you choose to ignore those signs? And so nobody put a gun to my head and made me marry this sister. I chose to marry her. So I'm taking ownership and responsibility of the choice I made. I'm not going to just keep, these sisters. No, I chose to be with these sisters. And this is what a lot of people don't do. They don't do muhasabah. They don't look at their own part. They don't self-evaluate and examine themselves. They refuse to do it. And this is why the problem is reoccurring. They keep happening over and over and over again. And it's the same thing with the sisters. These men. No, you chose the man. The man didn't catch you in the masjid, put you in the headlock, and say, you woman, me man, you marry me now. No, and force you to marry her. Imam, Wali here, witnesses here. You marry me now. No, it wasn't some caveman brother that forced you to marry. It was you who was in them long late night conversations, text messages, and all that conversation. You voluntarily walked into that. You saw signs yourself, and you chose to ignore those signs. And so we have to evaluate ourselves. And most of us, we don't want to look at ourselves. Because usually when you ask yourself one question, it leads to another question. Which leads to another question. And it goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And at some point, it gets to some area, some aspect about ourselves that we don't want to look at. And so like, I ain't even trying to go there. So it's his fault. It's her fault. But one of the reasons why it's difficult is because, again, we take Allah out of the equation. We give some other human being attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think that this person had complete control and domination over me, and Allah couldn't do anything about that. A'udhu billah. Allah is all powerful. So when something negative happens to us, something within Allah's qadr, think about it. Our belief system, our creed, our aqidah, our articles of faith. What's the last one? وَتُؤْمِنُوا قَدْرِهِ Khairihi wa sharihi. Belief in Allah's divine decree. It's good and it's bad. It's not going to be all good. So when something bad happens to you or befalls you, what do you think? This is part of our belief. Okay, we understand. Some things bad are going to happen to us. Allah knows why He allowed it to happen to me. But let me get the ibrah. Let me get the lesson from it. What did I learn from this situation? Did I contribute to the situation? Can I be a help to try to help or deter other people from getting in the same situation? We don't think about it like that. We just want to throw blame. So, alhamdulillah. I see you distracted, and so I'm going to push you out of the camera so I can do the show by myself.
No. I'm here.
Yeah, I know you're here.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Everything all right, or did it collapse?
No, not.
MashaAllah.
MashaAllah.
You got anything you want to say before we close out?
No, I just want to thank everyone for joining us this evening. These are topics and subjects that needs to be addressed, as well as others. If you have any suggestions about a show topic, let us know on our page, Have Your Deen Show, Nur Zaman Radio page on Facebook. Make sure you download the Mixler app for Nur Zaman Radio show. Alhamdulillah. Just keep abreast. Now we're going to change our time once Ramadan rolls in, inshallah. So be on the lookout for those changes. We still plan on holding a show still prior to breaking the fast, so that at least we could still be active. But normally we'll stop a show in Ramadan, and it may be another year before we even see you again. So we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, so we're going to keep on going with the show. Inshallah on the same day, Monday. But like we said, during the fasting hours, because most of us, a lot of us will be, in the masjid, breaking fast, praying Taraweeh and reciting the Quran. And that's another thing. I want to keep the show short.
Okay.
Extremely short. No more than 45 minutes during Ramadan, tops, inshallah. And so, because, we need to, if we're not already attached, we need to reattach ourselves to the Quran during this month. Ramadan is Shahrul Quran. Ramadan is the month of the Quran. So, compared to the Quran, even inshallah, this information that we share is beneficial. Compared to the Quran, this is useless information. So we want to reconnect with the Quran during the month of Ramadan, so we're not trying to take away from any of the believers reading the Quran during this month, inshallah.
Inshallah. Well, Wayaki, Nimco, thanks for joining us this evening, and we hope to see you again next week. Same time, 8:45 is our new time.
Yep, 8:45
is our new time up until when Ramadan ends, inshallah. So be blessed. May Allah bless you and your families. May Allah heal you if you're sick. May Allah calm your fears. If you're going through stuff, may Allah help your situation if you're being tested at this time. And please keep us in your du'as as well, inshallah. You can close out.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت واستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May Allah bless you all with a peaceful evening, and may Allah bless you with strong marriages and that bring you all close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Ameen, ameen. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.